has once again stirred a controversy. The BJP's nominated MP in the Rajya Sabha, Subramanian Swamy, has gone ahead and embarrassed the Narendra Modi government by launching a public tirade against RBI Governor Raghuram Rajan. Swamy wrote a scathing letter to the Prime Minister seeking Rajan's ouster, claiming the RBI Governor was deliberately trying, in his words, to wreck the Indian economy. The BJP MP has also contended that since Rajan continues to renew his green card issued to him by the US government, he should not be seen as fully Indian. Let me then go to the man who's creating all the controversy at the moment, Subramanian Swamy, joining me. Dr. Swamy, by writing to the Prime Minister, making your letter public, calling for the sacking of the RBI Governor, haven't you gone ahead and embarrassed the Narendra Modi government, the BJP, and dare I say the country?
How does that embarrass? This is a democratic party, not some business organization where bosses get embarrassed because somebody raised a matter of removing some employee.
Employee? Sir, Dr. Swamy, did you say employee? I don't think the RBI Governor, sir, surely should be seen as an employee of the government in the manner that you may want, who can be thrown out whenever you want.
So what? He's not a minister, he's not a member of the party. Where's the question of getting embarrassed?
No, Dr. Swamy, are you aware that you are flying against expert opinion within this country and outside? A majority of the people who are economists believe that Raghuram Rajan is a prized asset for the country and the government, one of the world's leading economists.
This is your opinion. I have not come across any such opinion in the country. You might be more familiar with what's happening abroad, but I'm not concerned with what's happening abroad.
Sir, Dr. Swamy, you've even gone in the letter and challenged Dr. Rajan's Indianness. Isn't that something undignified again, which is again out of line? He's after all someone who's a badge of pride for India, one of the world's leading economists. Why question, sir, today even his patriotism?
That is your opinion, whether I'm stretching it too far or not. It's a material importance. If a man has got a green card and he wants to renew it every year, green card is supposed to be a first step towards citizenship. So this is a matter of great concern for us. And where is the question of world over people wanting him? I don't think anybody in India cares two hoots whether the Governor of Reserve Bank is Mr. Raghuram Rajan or someone else we select. It's a few people of us who understand economics who have a right to express their opinion.
You know, Dr. Swamy, when I'm listening to you today, this animus that you seem to have towards the RBI Governor, there seems to be some personal attack that you're making. What are you trying to drive at in this manner? You're now a nominated Rajya Sabha MP.
My letter. His policies are all aimed at wrecking the Indian economy.
His policies are all aimed at wrecking the Indian economy. Now, that's your opinion. Just as you said, I have an opinion, that's your opinion. Others will say, and many are saying, he's given the economy a solid foundation, ensured fiscal discipline. Why should such a man be sacked or attacked like this in public by an MP?
Well, that's your opinion. I think if a man is a danger to our society, I must ask for his sacking. The man has been consistently starving small and medium industries of their cheap capital by raising interest rates, and he has been doing other things too. And I don't want to...
Dr. Swamy, whether he should raise or lower interest rates or not is a subject for another debate. And you're welcome to debate that academically. But does it call for the sacking of an RBI governor, questioning his character? I mean, this is unacceptable in most societies, Dr. Swamy, in most democracies.
Yes, I do have a problem because I'm an economist. And I think this way the economy will not improve. Now, I don't know what Mr. Arun Jaitley's working relationship is, whether it has got to do with government to a regulatory body, and where the questions are basically one of measures that and how to implement them. I don't know in what context he said it. You may twist it to say that he's something that embarrasses me.
No, Arun Jaitley, sir, made it very clear that he believed, he gave a sense, at least in an interview yesterday, that the RBI governor and the government were on the same page. To that extent, I'm getting the sense that you're speaking on your own behalf or on behalf possibly of a section of the party which cannot handle a RBI governor who's nobody's yes man.
Well, this is a very funny binary choice you're offering me. I've always spoken on my behalf on the basis of what I think within the framework of party discipline. And this has got nothing to do with the party. The man is outside the party. He's an employee. He's an appointee of government, and in this case, he's an appointee of the previous government. We ought to have replaced him on the very first day. And now, at least since his term is expiring, he should be replaced. And someone who has worked with us and is aware of our ideological parameters should be made a governor of Reserve Bank.
Ideological parameters? I mean, surely an RBI governor is not supposed to function according to the ideological parameters of a government, sir. I'm taking now that this is purely your personal opinion, because I haven't seen anyone else in the Modi government, including, as I said, Finance Minister Jaitley, say this publicly about the governor in the May that you today are calling for his sacking.
You're not the only one, Mr. Rajdeep Sardesai, who knows the world. I've traveled perhaps more widely than you have abroad. I've lived abroad. I've taught abroad. I know what the world thinks. I know what kind of economics he is now implementing in our country, and I've given my opinion. It's for the government to decide what they want to do with him.
But sir, aren't you sending the wrong signal to this world, to the globalized economy with such public statements calling for the sacking of an RBI governor?
Yeah, you might be worried about that wrong signal. We want to send a signal clearly that we want people who perform for our government according to the manifesto that we have put out to the public. We want economic growth to accelerate. We want small and medium industries to prosper. And Raghuram Rajan is unfit for the job, and there's nobody in the world who will question us for it.
So there will be people who will question you. In fact, most of the comments have been very critical of what you've been saying. It seems to me once again that you have some hidden agenda, either to embarrass the Finance Minister Arun Jaitley or someone else in the government by going public in this manner.
I think you ask this stupid question too often with me in every interview. When I speak what I think is right. And it's for the party to tell me that this is not a party view. On the contrary, I heard that the party spokesman for economic affairs is actually supported what I have said. And you probably don't read what he said.
Sir, you know, you can accuse me of asking you stupid questions, and yet, sir, you have no issues in deriding someone who's considered a leading economist across the world. And I am supposed to just, I'm only asking you the questions.
That's another stupid surmise this time, not a question. I am not concerned with what Mr. Raghuram Rajan is and how independent he is and so on. I'm interested more in what policies he is implementing, and this is disastrous for the Indian economy. The Indian economy will never come out of its recessionary mode if this kind of policies continue.
Sir, when we asked the Finance Minister yesterday on the question of extending Dr. Rajan's term, he said such issues are not discussed in the media, yet a day later, you as a member of the parliament go ahead and raise this issue in public fora. Aren't you an isolated voice, sir?
That is what your hope is. You're interpreting him. He should say openly that I'm isolated. He didn't say that. He said, yes, that the government has to decide. I'm not part of the government, so the government has to decide whether they want to take my input or not.
Purely as a neutral observer, Dr. Swamy, I am sensing this is part of a larger war that is going on within Parliament and outside over the scope and direction of reform, maybe even an attempt to undermine the Modi government.
This is your concept of neutral observer. If India today is neutral observer, then God knows what is really neutral observers. Or I think this is a silly question again, because it doesn't matter. It's got nothing to do with Parliament. It is something, a man has been appointed to an office which the government of India appoints, and I am telling the government of India's chief executive, namely the Prime Minister, that I think he should not be continued. I don't know why you're making such a big fuss about it as if you're his advocate.
No, I'm not his advocate, but I'm certainly concerned about the manner in which this is playing out. The Finance Minister yesterday seemed to suggest, as I said, that North Bloc and RBI are working together. Are you just creating trouble for the Finance Minister Arun Jaitley, with whom you also have an animus?
That is your opinion. Let the Finance Minister say it's being creating opinion. I don't see why you should speak on his behalf unless you have taken power of attorney from him.
I have taken power of attorney from no one, sir. You seem to be ready, from what I can see, for another battle, this time against your own government, your own RBI governor, possibly your own finance minister.
Yes. I'm ready for the battle anytime you want.
Okay, let's leave it there. You're ready for a battle anytime you want. You've heard Dr. Swamy, that controversial letter. I appreciate your joining us. I want to turn at this moment to Surjit Bhalla, one of the country's leading economists, Chairman Oxis Investments, to get a sense of what he makes out of this. First of all, Dr. Bhalla, what do you make out of the fact that there is this complete silence over whether Dr. Rajan will get an extension in August, and the way it's now playing out, that the likes of Dr. Swamy are coming out and openly calling for his sacking? How do you explain it?
Well, 2 points there.
Yes.
First, I think, and this is the only part, if you will, that I agree with Dr. Swamy, he has every right to come out and say whatever he feels like. That's a democracy. And therefore, he has every right to say what he thinks, how he thinks, why it is the case. The second point is, it is around the world, whenever an important appointment comes up, people play favorites. And we saw that in the US, where there was this big controversy about whether two very, very eminent economists, Larry Summers or Janet Yellen, should take over the position of the Fed governor. Now, the difference, so therefore, this was played out in the public about the two candidates. The difference in India is that I don't see anybody who comes even close to matching Raghuram Rajan, like, if you will, Larry Summers matched Janet Yellen. So I see this as people playing favorites. They have some candidate in mind, and therefore they're trying to push the one leading candidate that is...
Do you get a sense, though, that because of his free-spirited, independent thinking, because he said things like the Indian economy's growth is andho mein kana raja, that there is a section within the BJP that cannot stomach the idea that there is an independent RBI governor who, as Dr. Swamy says, may not be on the same ideological page?
Yeah, this is the first time I've heard anybody in the world talk about a governorship of the central bank in ideological terms. So this is very, very strange, coming from Dr. Subramanian Swamy, who himself at one time was an eminent economist. Now, there are sections in the BJP who took offense to Raghu's statement about a one-eyed man. And my reading of that, first of all, that showed I happen to completely agree with what Dr. Rajan said. And if I were the BJP, I would say, listen, you're spot on. India is a land of one-eyed man because we have been left with an economy in ruins because of the Congress. So therefore, how can it be that this economy is in good shape? And therefore, whatever we do will stand out because the economy is in bad shape. It so happens that the BJP or sections of the BJP don't have a sense of humor and cannot turn such things to their political advantage.
Let me ask you then in conclusion, do you believe the time has come for the government to end its silence over the issue? That the silence is allowing people like Dr. Swamy to try and set a narrative and actually send out the wrong signals to the world economy at a time like this, or to those who want to invest in this country?
Well, I want to make 2 points on that. First, there are sections, large sections of Subarmanian Swamy's letter that are just not, if you will, decent. For example, he questions his integrity, he questions his Indianness, he questions his nationalism. And, I think many people would think that Raghu is much more of an Indian than either you, me, or Subramanian Swamy, because he's got the Indians' best interest at heart and is working very hard to achieve the goals of a normal Indian. So I think, we may criticize him, etc., but I think he's doing a splendid job in the interests of India, which should be what matters most to the government and to the citizens of this country. So in that sense, I think, let's take personal and all of, it is actually one last point I want to make, that if you read the letter, it is so full of economic inconsistencies that I'm very surprised that an economist, especially a distinguished former economist as Subramanian Swamy, has made those comments. He's just wrong on plain facts about interest rates, about the fact that high interest rates have hurt the SMEs, and so on and so forth. This is just plain wrong.
Okay. Let's leave it there. Clearly what you're saying, it appears then that Dr. Swamy seems to be pursuing some kind of an agenda which, as you believe, is not in the interests at the moment of the government or the economy. Raghuram Rajan, in your view, is doing as fine a job as possible in tough circumstances. Dr. Sujit Bhalla, appreciate your joining us to give us your sense. My take on this issue: the government would do well to end the speculation over a second term for the RBI Governor. Raghuram Rajan is a prized asset. Dr. Swamy may have his own reasons, but the noise shouldn't hijack the credibility of the central banker. The silence of the finance minister and the prime minister will only embolden Dr. Swamy and his supporters. It's not what the country and the economy need at the moment.